Welcome to our third day of MMVC 24. Our presenter is coming to us from the United States, and that's Dr. Arkady Zilberman, who has a PhD. Arkady was working as a simultaneous interpreter and invented a method of subconscious training in English skills that enables adult ESL learners to acquire fluency in less than a year. Arkady's latest invention is the AI Web App Tutor, AIWAT, which can be used to learn any foreign language. AI, or AIWAT, combines three inventions: GenAI, patented subconscious training, and guided self-learning for developing fluency in any foreign language. And he has a blog post on this. The three-action activity, reading, listening, and speaking, presents the brain with a challenging workload that automatically stops the ingrained habit of thinking in the native language and cross-translating incoming information into the native language. And this information is super important. So it gives me great pleasure to have you with us, Dr. Arkady, and enjoy, everyone, because this is amazing stuff. Trust me. Thank you.
Thank you. So today I will talk about AI Web Application Tutor, acronym AIWAT, which allows us to learn any foreign language. You may say that Duolingo also allows to learn any foreign language, and there is a huge difference. In Duolingo, when you learn any language, it's actually a different program. When you use AIWAT, it is one program that allows you to learn any foreign language. And what is fascinating, it comes with 0 lessons and potential to create unlimited number of lessons in any foreign language and provide support in any native language. AIWAT synergy is ensured by 3 inventions: GenAI, subconscious training, and guided self-learning. Many presenters here were talking about using AI for learning foreign language, and I would say that that information is slightly misleading, because we cannot use AI for learning a foreign language very effectively on one reason. AI gives its instructions which you should to memorize. That is, it uses traditional conscious learning. And we know the best property of our memory is forgetting. So, you know, in mathematics, there is a rule. If you multiply a very large number by 0, you will get 0. It is similar. If you apply AI to obsolete pedagogy based on rote memorization, you will get the same 0 results. But I will demonstrate it in my slides. 2 billion people learn English. AIWAT allows to learn a second language by the mechanism used in acquisition of the first language. What is the mechanism of the first using the first language acquisition? It's subconscious. You understand that all children acquire native language by using subconscious. They're subconscious. They do not think, they do not memorize, they don't know grammar rules, and they speak subconsciously, that is automatically. Actually, to use the for acquisition the same mechanism as we used our first language, it's not the first proposal. Stefan Krashen was talking about that. However, at that time, we did not have technology. And Stefan Krashen did not give a definition what is subconscious training. I will talk about it in details on next slide. Learners create personalized lessons using AI and apply subconscious training and guided self-learning. Now, everybody is talking about personalized lessons. I must tell that there are two types of personalized lessons, good ones and bad ones. And unfortunately, most personalized lessons offered in language industry are bad, and I will explain why. So there are two types of personalized lesson. Type 1, created by AI and offered to learners for conscious learning and memorizing. But we know we cannot memorize anything. In 2-3 days, we forget 75% of what was given to us as information. So this wouldn't work. Type 2, personalized lessons created by learners using AI for guided self-learning consciously or subconsciously. It's a different story. It's a different type of personalized lessons. And I will demonstrate you the correct type of personalized lessons in a minute. Language learning goals. Learners rewire the known symbols of the language of thoughts to unknown words of a foreign language. This definition may sound strange to you, but let me explain. Irrespective of how many languages you speak fluently, we think in the language of thoughts, which has a scientific name, mentalese, as was described by Steven Pinker from MIT in his book, The Language Instinct. Language of thoughts is always used for thinking. But the symbols or feelings in which we think are wired together to the words in our native language, and this creates the illusion that we think in our native language or in any other language which we speak fluently. We always have the same language of thoughts. So this new definition of language learning, we have language of thoughts and all symbols and feelings there are already known to you, acquired through your experience. And now our objective is to wire those symbols and feelings to new unknown words in a foreign language without cross-translation. That's a different purpose, and it could be acquired in this manner using AIWAT. AIWAT eliminates two barriers: forgetting and thinking in the native language. That is, cross-translation is eliminated. Why it eliminates forgetting? We have in our mind only two systems: system of conscious learning and subconscious processing. About 5% of our all daily activities are done consciously, 95% are done subconsciously. subconscious has a remarkable processing capacity, which is 500,000 times faster. And subconscious records everything. It doesn't forget anything. When you use subconscious training, you find language patterns and subconscious records them and wires them together with labels that which are unknown words in a foreign language. That's why when you do subconscious training, you do not forget anything. Now, you should remember that subconscious records everything, but consciously we do not have access to our subconscious. We have to rely on our subconscious to find those patterns, form a new language speech center in your brain, and allow you to speak automatically. How it is done? It is done by performing 3 actions simultaneously. When you are reading, listening, and speaking simultaneously, you activate subconscious mind automatically. Why? Because when you do conscious learning, you can do only 1 or 2 actions. Our brain is not designed to be multifunctional. It can do only 1 or 2 actions. If you perform 3 actions at the same time, automatically you do eliminate cross-translation and activate subconscious training.
Excuse me, okay, fine.
Yeah. You may ask questions now.
No, there was something about the slide. Someone wasn't seeing it move, but I just saw it move, so it's okay.
This slide. I would mention, I would like to stress that at the beginning I mentioned that we use 3 revolutions combined in AIWAT. Self-learning is a revolution. And now when we have the self-learning revolution, we should also understand that teachers cannot have lessons in subconscious training. They cannot. Because they cannot create an environment for reading, listening, and speaking simultaneously. But what that means? It means only that teachers should become coaches, guiding learners in their self-learning. By the way, my co-founder, Dr. Janet Watts, has published a book, The Learning Revolution, which was sold over 10 million copies. Now she prepared a second edition, is called The Learning Revolution, Self-Learning Revolution. The book would be published in about 3 months, and she invited me to write a chapter there. AIWAT is a part of the Self-Learning Revolution book, which will be published soon. We created personalized lessons which allow subconscious training because they give us the option to do the main drill of subconscious training. That is 3 actions at the same time. But we should also remember that we need to perform 6 drills on our personalized lessons to acquire them. To acquire them subconsciously and to form language patterns which would be recorded by our subconscious and which would be allowed, which will allow us to use them automatically without thinking. Drill 1. Listen to the recording in the native language with your eyes closed. I'm talking about personalized lesson created by AI, and the first drill we used it in the native language and just listen to the recording with eyes closed. When you close your eyes, about 60 or 65% of our brain activity is freed, and we can use it for visualization. So whatever you hear, you will visualize, you form a video of the situation, of the lesson, and all other 5 drills, when you will be using the target language, will be more understandable to you, will be comprehensible, because you already created a video in your mind. Keep in mind, however, that the first drill is recommended only for beginner learners. If you are an intermediate learner, it's not necessary. You can start with drill number 2. Listen to the recording in the target language and follow the text without pronouncing the words. You prepare yourself to understand, and you also check which words you know and which you don't. If you find some words which you don't know, then you go to drill number 3. Highlight the sentence with an unknown word and translate it into the native language. I stress that we do not translate separate words, because every word, if you will translate it, will have many meanings. Can you remember them? Absolutely not. So when you use sentence or even a part of sentence, you will get contextual translation with only one image. You visualize your translation as an image, and it becomes, when you return to the target language, it becomes already understandable to you. I will demonstrate all those drills on a lesson in a minute. Drill 4. Read the text. Listen to the reading software and speak simultaneously. This is the main drill, which eliminates forgetting and cross-translation and allows us to activate our subconscious mind. The same mind which we used when we acquired our first language. This drill does allow us to use the same mechanism which we used for learning our first language. After doing this drill multiple times, your subconscious acquires language patterns in this lesson, and you can then continue to other drills. Click the record button and read aloud the text without listening to the reader. If you are satisfied, you can share it with your peers or with the teacher if you are using guided self-learning. If not, you re-record it. Drill 6. Develop fluency and measure it quantitatively by flow speech fluency testing. Flow speech fluency testing may be quite a new term, a new concept for you. On this slide, I will show you how it works, and then I will demonstrate it on an actual application. On the display, you see here those buttons, and you can record it, you can listen to your recording, you can stop it, you can share it. And when you click on this button, the word randomly selected from a dictionary of 3,000 most widely used English words will appear on the screen. And each time a different word appear on the screen. Our objective is not to explain, not to translate, but start speaking as soon as you can from your life experience, ignited by the word which you see on the display. For example, giving is a great teacher. Usually people who like giving, they get tremendous pleasure from giving. They are more positive. They are more healthy because giving is what unites us with people, what shows you character, what shows you compassion, love, etc., etc. It doesn't matter what you say. What matters is that you start speaking automatically, ignited by the word on the screen. Click on this button, the next word appears, etc., and you do it for about 15 minutes. The advantages of flow speech fluency testing is that it is the first testing method in the language industry which uses automatic speech. It develops fluency as ability to speak automatically. And then by recording it for about 15 minutes, you can determine how many words you have used for how many minutes. You determine fluency in words per minute, and it is a very important characteristic. We know that fluency determines intelligibility. AIWAT helps learners improve their fluency from 30 words per minute for beginners to 150 words per minute for intermediate and advanced learners. We also know that high fluency scores of about 150 words per minute are required to speak automatically to pass English proficiency tests. You should understand that increase of fluency from 30 words per minute to 150 words per minute, 500% increase cannot be achieved consciously. It's training. It's like training a muscle, a language muscle. And AIWAT is ideally suited for this training purpose. You also must understand that probably you heard that fluency determines intelligibility. And actually, the Purdue University made a study, and they determined that intelligibility, main criterion for intelligibility is fluency. It's not pronunciation, it's not knowledge of vocabulary, it's not grammar, knowledge of grammar, it's just fluency, ability to speak automatically. It's very important. AIWAT here on this slide is used for learning English. Query. Write an uplifting poem in 400 words for a beginner English learner. Apply 6 drills to the personalized lessons described on previous slides. Learners create unlimited lessons in English or any other language and use support in any native language. To the right, you see the example of the poem created by this, but you should also understand that any query will produce personalized lessons according to your level, to the text of your query. And the query can be used to do even vocational training. If you are already intermediate learner of English and you need to acquire vocational knowledge, for example, you want to become a nurse or a programmer, you can create lessons, personalized lessons according to your query. You use here unlimited capacity of GenAI to create personalized lessons which are useful for you. They are really personalized. Invest in AIWAT. I must here say that AIWAT is a prototype which I have demonstrated to you, and I will show in a minute some of its capacities in action. Prototype means that all steps are already created. You can learn and use AIWAT in your class tomorrow just by learning this application. And I have a lot of information, and I offer free technical support and free unlearning sessions. However, to make it really great contribution to language industry, we must create a commercial product. And I hope that some of you have access to those companies or those entities who would be interested in investing by creating a commercial product based on AIWAT. We are talking here not about investing money. We are talking here about investing in new technology, a combination of 3 revolutions which allow us to develop fluency in about a year. Now I will show you an example of a lesson. Here is a lesson which I created recently. I was talking to an educator from Brazil. And you know, Brazil is country number 7 by population and number 70 according to English proficiency. It has a low English proficiency. And now I will take this moment to answer Dr. Nelly's question about Duolingo. Brazil is also the country which, after United States, has the greatest number of Duolingo users. Did it help to improve English proficiency in Brazil? No. English proficiency for the last few years actually dropped, and now it's at the level 70. Before it was at the level 59, because Duolingo uses the worst version of conscious learning, the translation method. Even I would like to mention here that even if you remember the words, but it's not possible, but even if you remember the words as translations, you cannot use them for communication because our conscious has a very, very slow recall. For communication, at the speed of 150 words per minute, we have to produce 2 or 3 words per second. It's not possible to use consciously. It's not possible to become fluent by using Duolingo. And by the way, the founder of Duolingo, at the very beginning, many years ago, I remember his statement. He said it is for basic knowledge of a language and ability to communicate on basic topics. It's not to become professional or to use it professionally, a language which you learn on Duolingo. So now I come back to AIWAT. Query: write a 400-word bedside story for a 7-year-old child based on the novel of a Portuguese Nobel laureate in literature. Here at the top, you see the symbols of the program, which is called Read Aloud, and it gives us the option to play any text and produce sounds which are pretty close to natural speech. It has another option, very important. By clicking here, you can change the reading speed. You can select a voice, male or female. Reading speed is extremely important because we have to use special English. I don't know if you remember that special English is a term which was coined about 70 years ago by Voice of America Broadcasting Company. And at one time, many years ago, the director who invented special English was nominated for Nobel Prize. He didn't receive it, but unfortunately, because special English allowed billions of learners in the world to acquire language faster. And by the way, you understand that I am not a native English speaker. And I learned English and I became a simultaneous interpreter. I worked as a simultaneous interpreter for many years by using special English first. So it is absolutely a must to use special English for beginners, even for intermediate learners, and only when they have acquired enough high fluency, you can go back to natural speak. So I will show you first remember the real one is to listen to the recording in the native language, which is Portuguese in this case. And let's listen to the recording.
Consulta. Escreva uma história de cabeceira de 400 palavras para uma criança de 7 anos com base no romance de um português ganhador do Prêmio Nobel de Literatura.
I stop it because I don't hope that I don't think that many of you know Portuguese. And by the way, it's just an example that the program Read Aloud can read in any language with a very high quality. Now, the drill second is just listen to the recording in the target language.
Aqui está uma história baseada nas obras de Write a 400-word bedside story for a 7-year-old child based on the novel of a Portuguese Nobel laureate in literature. Here is a story based on the works of José Saramago, the only Nobel laureate in literature from Portugal.
Once upon a time, in a small village in Portugal, there lived a kind and wise man named Jose. Jose was not an ordinary man. He had a magical power. He could create worlds with his words.
I stop it to save time. And now remember drill 3. If we do not know the word ordinary, so I highlight the part of that sentence, translate it, and here's a translation into your native language. And it is contextual translation. So ordinary is comum in Portuguese. If you don't know a whole sentence or paragraph, you can do it also. Now, drill 4, the most important drill. I will show you now just a few paragraphs.
Here is a story based on the works of José Saramago, the only Nobel laureate in literature from Portugal. Once upon a time,
in a small village in Portugal, there lived a kind and wise man named Jose. Jose was not an ordinary man. He had a magical power. He could create words with his words. One day, a little girl named Anna came to Jose. Jose, she said, I'm bored. Can you tell me a story? Jose smiled and agreed. He took out his magical pen and began to write. I demonstrated to you the main drill, when you read, listen, and repeat. That is the main drill of AIWAT. And after multiple repetitions of this text, you will be able to use the language patterns of this lesson automatically. Now, I would like also to show you the fluency testing. And here is fluency testing. And what is important? That fluency testing is a part of this program. So you not only develop fluency, you can measure it. It's extremely important because it will show you quantitatively your progress. By the way, it is a kind of, when you measure your fluency in words per minute, it's implicit feedback. And in subconscious training, we do not recommend corrective feedback. Here I would have, I understand, a problem with 100% of teachers because all what they do is correct their students, and they think that the students can remember what is right, what is wrong. They cannot. They do not have filters in their brain, and they cannot remember it. So corrective feedback automatically brings students into conscious learning, into memorization, and we now know it was a historical mistake made 200 years ago when schools were organized during industrial revolutions and when the language was learned in the same way as any other subject in school. It's wrong. All other subjects in school should be learned consciously, but language is a subconscious activity and it should be learned subconsciously. Now, how the testing works. I've shown you all those buttons, record, listen, share, and I start testing. Hit. I heard yesterday one song which was called a hit, and it takes a very high spot in the market of latest songs on Spotify. But I must tell honestly that it was not appealing to me. I didn't like this hit because it was too noisy. It didn't have melody, etc., etc. It doesn't matter what I'm talking about. I would rather prefer to use subconscious training than conscious learning because it is much faster, because it allows me to eliminate forgetting, because it allows me to get the indirect, implicit feedback and prepare for standardized testing. I know exactly when I can go for standardized testing. To do that, I must achieve the fluency of 150 words per minute. Whatever you say, you have to ask if it is true. Now, I like a lot of things which appear in my LinkedIn feed. Recently, I received a saying of Stephen Hawking. He said, the greatest enemy of knowledge is not ignorance. It is illusion of knowledge. I like that saying because it opens our minds that we have to question everything. We have to use critical thinking. Unfortunately, our schools did not teach critical thinking. So now I think it is enough to show you how it works. And I think that now we can stop sharing. And I am ready to answer any questions which you might have.
Thank you. I thought we were going to see a demonstration of the actual app, but I guess that's for next time, maybe. So to make it easier, I'm going to ask everyone to open their mics. You can open your mic and ask your questions so that we don't have to, and comments, of course, to make it easier. So just unmute yourself and ask, show us that you can be critical. So let's be critical. And what do you think?
Yeah.
Yes, please.
Dr. Nelly, I would like to ask a question.
Yes.
Actually, can we use some of these languages which are extinct and revive them and create lessons with AIWAT?
Honestly, it was not my purpose. I cannot answer on this question. I can use I used my ability for critical thinking. I would say my first answer would be probably it's not worthwhile to do, because to use AIWAT, you must have ability to read simple sentences. So you must have a certain not zero skills in it. And the best thing, and I was worried about 2 billion learners of foreign languages, and I wanted to help them. I was not, honestly, thinking about the rare languages because some of them are even not alphabet-based. And so
Yes, it's all oral tradition. It is all oral tradition.
If it is oral, it cannot be used
Yes.
because it cannot be used because for activating subconscious, you must perform 3 actions. I would like to mention here that there is about 80 companies who do, and a lot of presenters here were talking about using chatbots for learning English. And my opinion that it is misleading. You cannot use chatbots for learning a language. The same way as Stefan Krashen 50 years ago said that speaking is not learning.
Okay.
That's why we need 3 actions at the same time to activate subconscious training, to return back to that mode in which we have acquired our first language and to use the same mechanism. So use all the advantages and features of AIWAT to learn any language. French, Spanish, Portuguese, or whatever language you can
Which has a
use
script.
the
That's
same
what you're saying.
application.
Which
Sorry?
has a script. Any language which has a script can be used. That's what you mean, right?
Exactly. Yes. It cannot be used for oral languages. No.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Most welcome.
I'm not sure that anyone suggested, at least not here, that you can learn a language from a bot. What was mentioned that you can practice maybe on your own without a teacher, and teachers were worried about the fact that there won't be any use for language teachers or language learning as such, because people will be able to communicate with their phones through, a kind of simultaneous translation on the phone where you speak in English and somebody else, the phone, it goes through a system that is able to translate, and then people will understand you, and there won't be a need. That was the scare. There won't be a need for new languages to be learned. That's it.
Dr. Nelly, can I answer your comment?
Of course, because that was our concern.
Yes, this is not a real concern, and here is why. 4 people in the world, we take just 4 people in the world who speak English. 3 of them are non-native speakers. And using the iPhones or any other devices or a translation has no reason to suspect that teachers would not be needed, because we need to do research. Most research is in English. We need to communicate on the basis in the company. We need to answer phone calls now. We need to be able to process information, most of which is in English. And that's why teachers should not be afraid. I spoke to one educator, and he told me he didn't like applications because teachers would not be needed if we have too many applications capable to teach a language. Wrong. Learners cannot use self-learning if they're not guided.
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about no need for anyone to learn a foreign language in the future. We're not talking about right now, but it's getting there because there will be translators, instant translations, where not only the text will be translated into that language and it'll be perfect translation, but also audio. Spoken language will be translated. And you will hear, when I speak to you, say in Hungarian, you will hear Russian. Or when I speak to you in Italian and your language is French, you will hear French. And there won't be need to learn a foreign language. That was the concern, not apps. Apps were not the concern.
Dr. Nelly, but keep in mind that when we are talking about life, in business, in research, we cannot use those translations. By the way, they could not be exactly reflecting your thoughts because you use body language, because you participate in something together, you create together, you collaborate, and using artificial intelligence for that, it's would be interference. You cannot do it. People will still communicate it with each other. If they do not communicate, or if they don't read the books in the original language and the native in English, because most scientific books are in English, then they would not be on the same level. I think the global economy depends on English proficiency, and English proficiency is always will be required. And we need to find a way to increase English proficiency irrespective, because all those methods of translation, however complicated they will become or how well organized, they cannot be used in real life. When you are at the table, when you are on the phone, and you answer the questions, you do not have that option. English proficiency is a must for further development of global economy. It's also a must for peace, for better peace relationships. Because look, in Japan, English proficiency is number 87. Nobody speaks English in China. In Japan. In China, English proficiency is number 82. In Brazil, number 70. It means that people do not speak English. It means that they cannot collaborate or participate in global economy. It does not matter that there are some ways of translations. It's something outside of our complex daily activity.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hello.
Thank you so much. I think our time is up. Yes, is that Mohammed?
Yeah.
Yeah, please.
I just have a very, first of all, thank you for this informative and engaging session. As a neuro-language coach, I want to add something. Subconscious learning is optimal and key. It taps into our natural brain's ability to absorb chunks of information and retain it and retrieve it, and until the learner can achieve automaticity